kind of keep it lost and stuff. Yep, we're gonna have to do this whole corner right there. We're gonna have to do that underneath there, but I gotta take all this out. So we need to go around, clean this corner, do that, and then we'll go all the way up around here and seal all these outside walls. So that all the outside walls and this crack right here, going all the way up, needs to be done. Yeah, well, at least in the middle, so right here, and then I have to take all this stuff and we gotta move it. So, but yeah, so basically what we're doing, we just put down these bars. They wouldn't let us go and just buy new flooring and put in a new flooring. So we put in these bars to keep the flooring level and make it more stable. And then we're gonna put down another layer of wood because they wouldn't let us pull this up. They just didn't want to yeah, go a little faster. Yeah. Okay, jump and go. Yeah, just jump and go. Okay, feel that cap there. Hold it upside down. Oh, you got it. Go faster. There you go. Now you learned how to do that. There you go. And then wipe it off. Always try to push that up on the roof. Yeah, just push it up. Push it up there.
I'll try.
No, use the nipple. And then just... Magnet it to the floor. Where I'm at, let me just go in. We already got the new flooring, thanks to Goddess Isis helped a lot yesterday with that. So now I'm going to put in new walling. She's still deciding, but I guess I'll be cutting and draining here, and there'll be like a shower or a bath or something here that will require a drain, but I'm going to have to drain it out underneath the floor and out the front in a trench towards the garden area, because anywhere else around here will destroy the ground underneath here and possibly cause damage. So, but yeah, it's really nice. It's a nice cozy spot. I really like it, and we are talking about putting up some paneling on there. So we'll keep you updated. But fast on turning this shed into basically a tiny home. I know that we haven't videotaped all of the work, but it's hard. It's hard to do that right now. But what we did do was I finally convinced the owners that they have to have this installation in. And I know that cost was a factor for them, so I got the foil, which is clearly working, because yesterday, even though I had cleared out all the wasps, there was still a few wasps sitting in corners and stuff. Well, they woke up, and so although they were moving slow, it shows clear. Turn this shed basically into a tiny house. And it won't be a tiny house, so I'm not cutting windows. But some real talk for those of you that want to convert your shed into a house. From the very get-go, the original floor, this shed is about 20 to 30 years old. I believe it is around 22 years old. So the original floor was terrible. She wouldn't let me pull it up. So what I did was I put metal brackets on the old floor to get it more stable where the support had broken. And then I re-tiled it with new wood. Okay, this wood was $20 a sheet and it came in 4x4 squares. About that size, a little bigger. She wouldn't listen to me and I said buy these ones. She also didn't listen about the installation, which we ended up having to go back and get. The foam installation was a little too thick for these areas because I was doing stuff like that. So we went with the foil installation, which actually really worked well. We got a small portable heater in here. And although right now I just fired up the heater, so it's still a little chilly, but it's wintertime here in Colorado. And she used to have wasps. This area was infested with wasps. And so there's a few wasp bodies that I did not move. Well, when I got this installation in and the heater was running yesterday, the wasps woke up. And they weren't happy because their nest was gone. They didn't know where they were. So they were just crawling on the floor, confused because their queen had been taken out of here and they didn't have any orders. So clearly the foil does work. I will definitely say do the best that you can. If you're going to convert a shed, and I'm about to break some stuff down for you, use the best materials you can. This was a save type of situation, but it did work. Mostly people do this for dog houses. But of course, she's not going to be living in here. It's not going to be rented out as a space for people to stay in. So using the foil, just the foil bubble type, was okay. It keeps it warm enough where people can be in here and smoke cigarettes or whatever. If you're doing a house, I would definitely say make sure that you buy the foam with the foil in it, and make sure for the shed that you ordered that it's the right depth so that your walls are level, okay? You always want to keep these things in mind. There's a lot of things to think about when you're doing this, and I want to kind of break some of those down, as well as do the converting your shed to a tiny home challenge. So as you can see, I got to tear all this off because she wouldn't buy the installation. So now I got to take all that off and put installation in it. So real quick, we semi-cheated because if you don't remember the patio project where I built that patio out there. We ordered 500 bags of concrete, and with that came some free pallets. So I've been disassembling pallets and reusing those woods to create the framing that you need inside the framing in order to put the walls up. So there, I saved some money, but we lost some money because she wouldn't listen. And so I'm going to move these 2 panels to this back wall on the lower side. And I'm going to put a whole fresh new panel going across here so it all matches and looks pretty. So you want to calculate, you're going to make mistakes. I'm a semi-pro, meaning that I'm like a handyman, okay? I do electrical, plumbing, building. I could build a house if I needed to, but I'm not a pro. That's not what I do every day. I run Click TV. You guys know that. So, but I love to build, I love to create, and I love to be able to be challenged to engineer stuff that just, for the normal person, is not there. And so I did. So, you got to calculate your mistakes in. This was a bad mistake, and she didn't realize it till I was almost done, and realized that we had to go back and tear all this out and put in the installation. And I was like, if you just listen to me. She wants to add a bathroom here and plumbing. And again, I keep saying, nah, I don't know about that, but she wants to do it. So I'm still working on that. But for right now, just to give you an idea, what you want to think about first of all is a few things. She wanted to be able to connect and disconnect this. So she didn't want me to do the separate panel and power. So what she did was she bought a very long extension cord that plugs into her house. And then she bought this little guy, which is actually really cool. I really like this. I'm going to go get me one. It's got 3 plugs, 2 USB ports, and a little tiny charger. This is what is this? Commercial Electric. It's their Cube. I like it a lot. However, for power in here, I can't run like my speaker. And where is my speaker, by the way? Anyway, I'll find that in a minute. I can't run my speaker and the saw, which I just had. Oh, it's right there. And the heater and the light all at the same time because I don't have enough outlets. One option you can do is if you want to just plug it into power, cut the end off and wire that to a standard electrical plug. And then you'll at least have the 2 extra plugs, the 1 extra plug there, so you can do one more extra thing. I would always recommend talking to your electrician and just doing it the right way. You need at least 1 plug on each wall, okay? So you need to think about your electrical. You also need to think about your lighting. Originally, she wanted to do a solar type of lighting, so we did. You can see the brackets up here, and this was the solar lights. She didn't want an expensive one because for what she's doing, it was not necessary. So she just bought a nice $30 one with the motion sensor and accepts timing and all that. And believe me, it is actually a very good light, okay? It is. It's a great light. The issue is, you get what you pay for. So the battery on here lasted about with a day's charge. With me working in here and it going on and off and the motion detector and all that, it lasted about 8 hours. So if you can make that work, this is actually a great product. The solar panels up on the roof, I can show you that later. And I had ran it originally through this wall right here. But you want to think about your lighting and power and stability. She does have a solar power generator, which we've used on several events, which was a good option for this as far as once it's done being built. But running the heater and the saws, no, that's not going to work. Not the one she bought. It's for camping. It can run a heater, but that might be the only thing you want to run on it. So you really want to think about your power situation. And these are where you find those people that says building a tiny home out of a shed doesn't work because they didn't think about these options. They make mistakes and it becomes costly. So you want to factor in your mistakes, especially if you're just a handy home person, who just wants to create and try. You really want to think about electrical, your power, your lighting, and your heating, okay? And then, because the windows and all that will fall into place. This one's not getting windows, but I am definitely going to be building one with windows. I'm going to go ahead and purchase the 2-story one, and we will document that one from beginning to end. The building turning a tough shed into a tiny home, and mine's will be brand new, so I won't have to do things like repair the floor. The floor that comes with it, all you gotta do is decide what coating you want on top of it. And I'm getting the basic shed. The basic price I think is $20,000 for the 2-story one with the stairs in it. No windows, no fancy doors. So I'll have to pretty much go in, cut out the panels and everything. So, but right now I would say I made approximately $500 right now to build this out for her, and she spent approximately $500. And when she gets done with this portion, all it will be is this paneling with the installation on the walls and some electrical. So it's not what the city or anybody would consider livable unless you're camping, okay? And even then, it would be rough. It's not glam camping, that's for sure. So she's already $1,000 in, including mistakes, but we saved a lot on that money because of the fact that I re-engineered a lot of old products from our previous projects. So she didn't care about these matching, so we used these, and they're really solid. The floor, remember I did her floor and I did her wall, and I put the trim on her walls in the house. So we reused all this, and it actually came out pretty artistic. I should have moved this one here and made it, jagged, but oh well, after that. Next project. But it still looks cool. And it doesn't look like it was, we're just taking materials that I used before and making it work. So I got it to work, and I actually like it. And it is doing a pretty good job. I had to spray foam in there because I was not about to take these back down. So I had to actually spray foam in there. So there's foam going through there, and I'm going to put more once I get closer to putting the trim on these edges. I'm going to put more foam, and it just helps. But even right now, since I've been talking, this is a nice, comfortable temperature. It's about 80 degrees in here, and it's holding. I could turn the heater off right now, and it will hold. The only air heating leaks we got is this wall right here, which I'm going to take apart, and the door area, which, as you can see, I am going to be doing that. So, and then I'll rebuild this door with a frosted glass door. So I'm guessing she's going to end up spending around $2,500 if she doesn't do that plumbing. That plumbing is going to be a little bit more. So I will definitely get some real figures from her. She always goes over the top, and that's always a good thing, because then you got a real good idea. But just where we are right now is about $1,000, and that's with me finishing the rest, putting all this paneling up and making it look pretty, and it would have cost her around $1,000. So she got the electrical, but it's not ideal. She got the lighting, but it's not ideal, and she got the walling, but there was some mistakes that had to be corrected. And then she's got the flooring, and she did buy the laminate and the glue, so there be a wood looking, it looks like this, but it's vinyl. So I'll be putting that over the floor. There's a couple of spots that are still kind of weak, and I'm going to put some more brackets on them, and then I'm going to put the glue down and then put the vinyl on top of it, and this part will be done. So I don't anticipate her spending any more money as far as what needs to go into this to finish it off for this stage. But again, she's at $1,000 already. And now, keep in mind, she would only be at like $500, whatever she spent on materials, because we had some of the materials. She'd only be at like $500 if she wasn't paying me to do this for her, or if she was willing to do it herself. So if you can do the work yourself, you're gonna cut a large amount of cost. But do not think that it's easy. You gotta really sit down and sometimes engineer stuff. I had to create this, and I had to figure it out. And I roamed around the backyard. Right now it's not clean, so it's no big deal. But I was running around looking at old boards and old parts and what I could take apart to make this work. And I took apart part of the patio that I built because I wanted to redo that anyway for her. So, and you can see the cords running into the house. And so it took some engineering, but luckily I remembered that I had the rest of these pallets that I built her garden with. I'm going to frame that mirror with it and make a framing for that mirror so she can hang it in there if she wants it in there. And so, remember I built these deep planters for her with the pallets, and we still have a stack of them right there by the school bus. So I was like, let me just take a couple of pallets apart. We took apart one of the above ground gardens, and I've been taking apart pallets and putting it together. And yes, For some reason, the hot tub's been having issues today. When I got here today, she was all upset because the hot tub kept tripping the breaker. I have no idea what it is. I think it's the heating element, and I'm not sure. So I even took apart an old umbrella, tried to reuse that. I've been trying to reuse everything that I can. You guys know I try to do it and make it look beautiful. Like in the summertime, you guys know, from the other videos I did, this backyard is immaculate. And this was all hand done. So she loves it. She just calls it her large art installation. So when you're getting into these projects, you got to be creative, and you got to have a vision between what you want and what you can do for the budget that you have, and do the best that you can to buy the best products and do the best job that you can. This would not have been my choice. It was hers, and I don't have say so. If she says build with this, I build with that. I can advise them and tell them that's not the best product you can get. I tried to get her to buy the waterproof drywall, the concrete wall. The drywall with the concrete, so it's waterproof, and put the foamier installation, not just the tinfoil. There's one that's about a half an inch thick. Put that in here, and so she went with this. She went with what she chose, and it is going to be very beautiful. However, it's not the best possible products she could have bought in order to make this project really nice and long-lasting. And that's the thing. That's the key. If you're going to do it, make it last so that you break even somewhere. She, for what she's doing with this, it will take her 2 years to break even on the $1,000 she spent to build this room. Okay? You want to keep that in mind, even if you're doing a tiny house. Well, if you calculate that you no longer have a rent, it's all paid for. If you do it solar, you don't have a power bill anymore. You got to take those calculations, your bill calculations, your inconvenience calculations, and then your living calculations, put them all together, and it'll tell you how long it will take for whatever you build to pay you back for building it. How many years or months or even days on some projects that it will take before the money you spent on it you've made back by cutting life expenses. Okay? I know I've been talking a lot, so I'm going to stop this video. And again, I apologize for not recording the whole thing. My camera people have not been available, and it's been a tasking project, and as all my projects are. So I will do better at trying to record more. I really thank Goddess Isis Games for coming out, and she wanted to learn how to do this, and was thinking about some gaming ideas about building and stuff like that. So she thought it would be a good venture for her. She made a little money off of it, and I had to help her for a day or two. So I appreciate Goddess Isis Games coming out and helping me, and AFGOOD company was one of the recommendations, and helped me convince the client that yes, we need to go back, tear out the walls again, and put in installation. So thank you to AFGOOD company, which you guys know is my brother, for helping with her making a decision and actually putting in some heat in here, because I wouldn't be working today. It is freezing outside, and it's going to rain all day tomorrow before it snows. So really, and some of the mistakes you don't have to redo. Let me touch back on mistakes. Some of the mistakes, once you or your client realizes that, okay, it was a mistake. Some of them you don't have to redo. You have to be creative. So putting the foam in here isolates this area at least. And this is a very small area, about 2.5 feet before the door, that's pretty well insulated with foam. And I'm going to do more, and then with the trim, and then I'll put the last of the insulator here and here. This area will stay warmer, and I'll put the rubber gaskets. So you don't always have to completely destroy your mistakes. Sometimes you can just simply make small corrections like that will fix them, or at least make them where they're workable. So like I said, you got to be creative, and you got to have fun with it for one. You can't just be like, oh my god, this is incredibly hard. It's not. You got to have fun with it, and just, like I said, be creative and enjoy it. So of course I enjoy engineering and building stuff, like creating that stuff. I was gonna call my friend Mike out. You guys remember the guy that bought a new truck and completely rebuilt it in my parking lot? He's one awesome engineer, and he just likes being creative, and he has a disability that he can't work anymore, and he likes to stay busy, so he just tries to do anything he can to use his mind and his creativity and his skills. And so today he was going to bring me out here and stay with me and re-engineer this, but I told him today's not a good day. We both have the same disability, and I didn't want him to have any issues with his health. So I'll wait for a warmer day, because both of us suffer when it's cold. That's why I moved to Arizona, because the heat is my buddy. So give yourself room to make mistakes. Be flexible and just use the best possible products you can afford within the budget. You can do this. I'm not saying at all that you can't. This is an 8x10 with a 7-foot high, and I mean the client does absolutely love it, and I will definitely shoot today to show you what it looks like once I get all this in and get a lot of this mess cleaned up. So I just wanted to shoot this video and kind of give some history, some numbers, some issues, and encourage you to try it. Encourage you to live your dreams, because a lot of people aren't living their dreams, and I think it's possible if we just go for it. Alright, I will quit talking. Ciao, Bella! This wall, what I want to do is, I'm going to redo that wall so you'll probably get to see it. So now this has been reworked. It's got the installation, and now I have the framework. And what that does is it's what supports this. Keeps it from folding, keeps it from bending, because it is a very thin, almost a foam type of board. So it's very light, really easy to break even dropping it down. And you can see where I just set it down here and kind of shift a little bit. So it's, I want to make sure I got enough support behind it to support it. And I still got one more piece to put there, but I want to stop now and just, show you just some very basic framework that you will nail this to, that will help support it. And the tinfoil will help keep the heat in and the cold out, or the cool in and the hot out. So it reflects the temperatures inside. So that's a good thing. It's something. So like I said, use the best you can. This is not optimal, but it works for what she's going to do with her little shed. Okay? All that I had here, and I'm going to take this one out as well. This is how important I think some type of installation is. I tore out all that work, all the framework except the center bars, and put the installation in. And now I gotta make new framing and put it in here and put this back on there. But that's how important I think that is. And so when you're doing this, make sure that you pay attention to these things. This is the difference between you being insulated, you see I already put the wall in on that side, where you having a comfortable environment or a very uncomfortable environment, no matter what the temperatures are outside. If it's a warm place, you can keep the place cooler by insulating it. And if it's a cold place, you can keep it warm by insulating it. But I thought it was important enough to go ahead and tear out all the work that I've done and put this in here. And so, yeah. Wall back up. Got the wrong piece. Got it all the way around to there. I'm going to put that piece on, and then that corner right there, and then I can get started on this top part. So yeah. It was a lot of work to put it back together, make it look nice. Got the molding all back in, but now it's insulated. It's really, really warm in here. It's very, very warm, and I think we're going with a chocolate stain on this, so that'll be really nice. And it'll be on here as well. So yeah, just want to stop. And you see how dark it is. It's getting hard to cut the wood in the darkness, but yeah, we're getting there. So all this in one day. All right. It's supposed to rain all day tomorrow, but you know, you can kind of see it's coming together. It's coming together. I got everything stacked over there. Ignore that. But from here all the way around is done, and this is in there. Those are in there. Everything's insulated now. I got to put that in tomorrow, and then I got to finish this top piece, and then these 4 sections. And the walling's done. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to take tomorrow off. Because yeah, I got it in there too. So because it's supposed to rain all day tomorrow. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to just finish cleaning up for today. Set the rest of the supplies in here so they don't get damaged, and take tomorrow off. That's the plan. So it's looking pretty good. It's looking real good. So I'm happy. I'm happy now. I still got to put molding in and, you know, make it pretty, but I'm pretty happy with how it is.